I'm Jen. I just wanted to tell a story about what happened to me when I was 13. I was almost done my first year of high school, and it was probably my worst year of school ever. But God was faithful to me through that year, and He called me to get baptized, and so I was super stoked to do that and just follow His will. And so that weekend, it was April the 25th of 2008. That was the Friday before I was to get baptized. And I was supposed to go to a Starfield concert with my best friend, her dad, my sister, and my dad, and I was super, super excited. And my crush was going to be there soon. It doesn't really get much better than that. So I was like, this is going to be the best weekend ever, and I was convinced. Me and my sister and my friend, we go to the mosh pit, and I'd never been in a mosh pit before. I'd been to concerts, but I'd never been in a mosh pit, so it was kind of strange for me, like looking around kind of like, oh my gosh. And the people started to gather in around us. We were probably in the middle of the mosh pit, and the lights dimmed, and the band came on, and there was this like super exciting buzz through the crowd. And they played the first song, Hosanna, and it was really powerful. And then they started to play the second song, which was more of an upbeat song. And by the chorus, everyone started to jump. And they got about 3 words into the chorus, and I look up, and the lead singer says, "Stop, stop." And I'm like, what the heck? And I look down at my feet, and I see the floor crumbling underneath me. And it was like one of those really horrible dreams where you're just falling through pitch black. It was like that. And I was just screaming as I fell through the floor with 80 other people, and just like, it was just like falling through nothing. And when I landed and I pulled myself up and I looked around, and the lights had turned on and the sirens were going, and I looked down at my best friend Taryn, who was beside me, and she's on the ground and she's looking up at me, and she had the most terrified look on her face that I had ever seen on anybody. So I yanked her up, and I literally started like jumping over top of people trying to get out, because the first thought that popped in my head was the rest of the floor is gonna fall on top of me. And so I looked back to see if my friend was following me, and all I saw was this huge pile I just saw a huge pile, because the dust was so thick that I couldn't see anything. And later I realized that was a pile of pews and people and speakers that had fallen through. And so I saw an exit sign, and I ran to that exit sign, and I was following these girls running through these hallways trying to get back up to the foyer, and they were just covered in like stains of blood, and it was really kind of disgusting. And so I got up there, and it was just like chaos, like if that moment would just define chaos. And so I eventually found my dad, and a few minutes later my sister and my friend came up, and I just remember walking through the parking lot and just seeing these people like gathering together, praying, and just being there for each other, and but just being so scared and not even realizing what actually just happened. And then on the ride home, my sister's like, "Dad, my arm hurts." And so we get home, and we realize that her arm really hurts. So she goes to the hospital, and she had bruises and cuts all over herself that she got through her clothes. And so she ended up breaking her arm. And my friend that fell beside me, he had a huge gash on her elbow and her shoulder. But I was checking myself. I was looking. I had one bruise this big on my arm, and that's it. And I was wearing a short sleeve shirt. That night, I put on my jacket right afterwards, and I took it off that night, and I was brushing my teeth, and I look in the mirror, and there's dried blood all down my arm, and it's not my blood. And at first, I was really like freaked out and grossed out, and it was really disgusting. And then I was thinking about it a while later, and I was thinking, if I hadn't fallen on that person, then I probably wouldn't have gotten baptized, and I probably would have been very much injured. And so when I fell, that person who broke my fall, their injury, they left that mark on me, and their blood was left on me. And because of that, I could get baptized 2 days later. And the same goes for our faith. And Jesus died for us, and he marks us with his blood, and because of that we can live and we have new life. I don't know why diseases happen and these sorts of things happen, but I know that God protects us, and I know that God watches over us, and he knows that our future, and he knows the plans that he has for us through our lives. Yeah, I thought it was a new way of sort of looking at our faith and how Jesus breaks our fall from sin, and because of him we can have new pure lives. So, yeah.